Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Arsenal Way. And yes, we are with you. Your first post-match reaction, should I say, of the Premier League season, where Arsenal have come out 2-0 winners against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. And that also means that Arsenal are top of the league as it stands. I'm joined by Umar Choudhry just to talk over and dissect the performance for Arsenal. Umar, how are you feeling? Happy?
I've got one word. We've got Super William Saliba. That's it. I think we need to change the lyrics to that Mikel Arteta song. But I'm buzzing, Bailey. Going away to Selhurst Park. Difficult proposition. It's a difficult ground to go to. Away, everyone's got eyes on us, but I thought it was a nervy performance at times. But what I was speaking to my friends and my family members on WhatsApp, we would have lost that game last season. I think we would have dropped points, or we would have crumbled under pressure. But I think now Arsenal have a mentality, Arsenal have a resilience, and they have a physicality within their team that, yeah, you wanna bring it on, we'll give it everything. And I think that stems from William Saliba. We're going to touch on his performance, of course, because this is William Saliba. He's announced himself to the Premier League. Rafa Varane, who, Mark Cucurella, who, Wesley Fofana, who, we don't care. We've got William Saliba. They can buy 70, 80 million pound players. We've got one of the best talents in world football, Bailey. And to be honest, I'm just over the moon.
Of course, you don't start for the World Cup champions for no reason, but I'm sure we will talk about Saliba in a second. But let's just talk about the team performance as a whole. And April last season, Umar, 3-0 defeat. You look like men first boys. Today, that's the complete different result. And does that just epitomize a turnaround and the hopes for the season that we are able to go to a ground like Selhurst Park? I don't think there's in the Premier League, you can't name too many grounds that's harder to go to than Selhurst Park on a night game under the lights with Ferreira's boys booming, is it?
No, it's not, and it's not even about. It's the atmosphere. It's a
Mm.
small ground. It's like them classic Premier League grounds that back in the day we used to have Highbury, but Park, when you go there, the pressure's different. But I thought, from Arsenal's perspective, I thought they handled it well. Ben White, even though he struggled a bit against Wilfred Zaha, I still thought he played decent. He was out of position, and Wilfred Zaha is it's not an easy opponent to be up against. But I thought he done decent. Um, Obviously, I thought at times the midfield was a bit too open, so it allowed the likes of the Corey, Eze to get on the ball a lot in the second half. But I thought, defensively, I thought we were solid. I don't think Palace had, apart from that chance with Edward and a couple of other close shaves, I think Arsenal defensively were calm and composed. And again, I think it stems from William Saliba, because nothing phases him, Bailey. Nothing phases this kid. You know what it reminds me? People in the past week have been discussing, oh, why doesn't William Saliba smile? Why is he
Mm.
not smiling in any training pictures? Why is he not doing this? Why is he not doing this? Bailey, he's pure business. This is a defender where he's come to play, and he doesn't care about the fame. He doesn't care about the pictures. He's just come to do a job. And Wilfred Zaha, I think the amount of challenges that he was just crunching into him, Wilfred Zaha's thinking, wow, I've finally got an opponent here. Edward, they had to take him off after 50 minutes because William Saliba had him in his back pocket. But Gabriel, I thought, alongside William Saliba, I thought there's a partnership there.
Yeah.
And I think Gary Neville touched on it just before the game. The fact that William Saliba has basically pushed Ben White, a 50 million pound player, out to right back,
Hmm.
says a lot about him. And like I've banged on during the start of this show, if we didn't have William Saliba, I think we'd have conceded. Because at times Ben White did get beaten by Wilfred Zaha, but who's there to clean up? William Saliba. And it was a good defensive performance. Obviously, there's still things that we need to improve on in the upcoming games. But if you're an Arsenal fan and you're going to sit here and say you're not happy going away to Crystal Palace and being top of the league, even though it may be for a few days, then I don't know, you're watching the wrong sport.
Absolutely. As just touched on the Saliba praise, it felt like Saliba was the oldest defender on the whole pitch, the way he was so composed, but he's actually one of the youngest. And I think that says a lot about his game. This is a lot about the potential and how he can improve the Arsenal backline. And I think it's an absolute priority alongside Bukayo Saka to get his contract sorted and nailed on, so we don't have to worry about any more transfer speculation. But I'm sure Arsenal will be moving on that in a couple of days. Yes, Saliba is above the Bailey tour. I also saw, no, I would not trade Aura for William Saliba. I can tell you that now, Arsenal fans, that is not happening whatsoever. But let's stick with the defence and let's talk about another debutant for Arsenal in the Premier League, and that's Alexander Zinchenko. That first half, amazing.
Amazing. I thought second half he did struggle a bit, and maybe it's down to tiredness. But I thought the thing that impressed me a lot about Zinchenko, his aerial duels.
Mm.
Every time the ball, you saw Yaki Manderson, the passes he was spraying. But even though Crystal Palace were hoofing the ball, more often than not, Zinchenko was winning his aerial duels. And he's not the tallest of defenders, but he was making himself known. And I like that. And the fact that, look at that assist that he provided to Martinelli, I think they've definitely worked on that on the training ground. And fair play to Jova and everyone who's worked on this, because I thought it was a clever set piece. But I think Zinchenko, the fact that there's a competition there now brewing between himself and Tierney, I thought when Tierney came on as well, I thought he added a lot of energy going down
Mm-hmm.
that left hand side, because Zinchenko did seem to be losing a bit of fatigue. But that competition is going to keep Arsenal in good stead. Last year, I know Nuno Tavares, a lot was said about him. Hopefully, he does well during his loan spell at Marseille. But I think at times his inexperience showed. But now we've got two top level left backs who will be looking to improve, who will be looking to make each other better, and I think it will keep Arsenal fans quite happy, because they've got a player there, Zinchenko, a versatile player. Because for me, I thought in the first half he was fantastic, but
Mm-hmm.
not only him, Gabriel Jesus, like what a player, Bailey, what a player.
And we're gonna, and I was literally about to touch on him. The third debutant is Gabriel Jesus, and look, tonight he didn't score, but I think that was irrelevant. His all-around play was absolutely magnificent. It's something Arsenal missed, a presence in the forward line. It was causing so many problems for Crystal Palace. I think that the first 5 minutes in that mazy run where Martinelli missed a great chance just set the marker and set the tone where Gabriel Jesus is going to be an Arsenal player, and the quality he is going to bring to the team. Just how important was Gabriel Jesus?
I think it stemmed from the first run, that amazing run,
Mm-hmm.
that I was thinking, who is this? Honestly, at times I thought it was a Lionel Messi or Ronaldinho. You're just going through players in and out, weaving in and out, and forget about the fact that he worked his socks off. Forget about the fact that he was coming in deep, and he was allowing the likes of Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli to keep their positions on the wide side roles. But what I liked about Gabriel Jesus is he's got that mentality. He presses from the front. He works for the team, but he's not selfish. Like he works hard, but he creates opportunities for. You saw Gabriel Martinelli when you thought, oh, come on, Gabriel Martinelli should be putting that in the back of the net. Then obviously Martin Odegaard as well, and you're saying to Martin Odegaard, come on, Martin, pull the trigger at times. And you know what my thoughts on Martin Odegaard are. I think he's a fantastic player. He's a great captain for this club, but you want him to score more goals because he gets in so many good positions. Like at times, you're just thinking, shoot, Martin, shoot. But hopefully, Mikel Arteta will be working with him on the training ground. But Gabriel Jesus, the sky's the limit. And Bailey, for me, I don't even think this is anywhere near his best performance. I think around the 60-minute mark, I think there's a bit of fatigue setting in his legs, and that can happen. He's at a new club. He's working with a new team, new players, different training methods. But honestly, we've got a player there, Bailey, and the sky's the limit for this player, because he's got a smile on his face now. You saw before when they were training, getting ready for the match, warming up. You just saw Gabriel Jesus. He's infectious. He's got an infectious personality, and that's gonna filter around the rest of the Arsenal group. So yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for him to go again next week against Leicester, because I think he'll score against Leicester. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a goal is coming for Gabriel Jesus against Leicester. But Umar, just looking at this game and looking at the team, of course, the transfer window is still open. We still have around 20 or so days left. Just looking at that game there, is there areas where we need to strengthen, maybe from a depth point of view, or do you think we're good to go into the season?
No, I still think we need a midfielder. With
Mm,
Granit Xhaka, everyone knows what a big fan I am of Granit Xhaka. I think top professional, good player, gets too much criticism at times. But Granit Xhaka, he picks up so many good positions. I think on that left hand side, but he's not that mobile for me, and I think we can improve on that position. Don't get me wrong, that's no criticism to Granit Xhaka himself as a player, but if he's picking up those positions and he's not the best in terms of mobility, imagine what a player like
Mm.
Lucas Paqueta could do. Because I think not even Yuri Tillemans. I know a lot has been said about Yuri Tillemans, but I think Lucas Paqueta is made for that role in Mikel Arteta's system, because Granit Xhaka, he picks up so many good positions. At times he's near the final third. He's
Mhm.
near the penalty area, and I think a player like Lucas Paqueta can improve this Arsenal team. And I think, Bailey, we're a few missing jigsaws away from completing this puzzle. Whether that's a midfielder, for me, it's a midfielder. I think the priority should be a midfielder. I think right now the wide forward areas for me, there's not opportunity which makes you think, wow, we should get that player. But for the midfield opportunities, there's Yuri Tillemans. Brendan Rodgers has come out again in his press conference and said that Leicester need to make some sales. He doesn't want to sell Fofana. He doesn't want to sell James Maddison. So maybe a Yuri Tillemans move is set to take place in the upcoming days. Lucas Paqueta. But for me, I still think we can improve on this team. Like, there was certain limitations at times with the midfield, and sometimes I think we need to be a bit more clinical and ruthless, because we create chances. So sometimes the cutting edge is missing. But let's take into consideration it's the first game of the Premier League season. We're game one. We're top of the league, and there's no reason to be even thinking about negatives at the moment.
Not whatsoever. It's a wonderful feeling. It is a wonderful feeling to start a game where you win the first game of the season. It's been a while for the Gunners, and of course, last season we lost to Brentford 2-0, but this year we've beaten Crystal Palace 2-0, and it is a big difference. And Umar, just going further into the season, of course, we have Leicester next week, and I believe it's Fulham the week after that. If you compare that to last season where we had Chelsea after Brentford and then Manchester City after that, just can this start to the season be possibly the determining factor to come towards the end of the season when we want to strive for Champions League football?
I think that this was last season. That was the reason why Arsenal didn't get Champions League football. I know a lot was said about the games to Southampton, Brighton, the games against Tottenham, Newcastle United, but I was speaking off air to Guy, and we discussed that Arsenal, in terms of winning games last season, they won a lot of games just behind, I think, Liverpool and Manchester City. Winning games was no issue for Arsenal. It was the fact that we lost too many games. I don't even think we picked up many draws, maybe three. So we didn't pick up points in terms of 1 point here and there, which could have given that Champions League position. But for me, last season, I think the start wasn't good. Brentford, Chelsea, Manchester City, who had issues with COVID. There were so many problems occurring in this Arsenal team. But this year, the team seems settled, and I think that's a big thing. And that's why I'm looking over the road to Chelsea. And yeah, they're buying players. They're making moves in the transfer market. But do they have a team in place right now? Do they have players who have played in preseason? Not for me. And it's going to take time for Thomas Tuchel to work with these players. So for me, like I was speaking to you off air, we beaten Crystal Palace, which on paper was the toughest test out of the first 5 games. We go into Leicester, where I think we should be beating them at home. Then we've got 2 games against newly
Mhm.
promoted teams in Fulham and Bournemouth. They're going to be tough games. Don't get me wrong. But if we want to be back in the Champions League, we should be getting the 3 points there. And then we play Aston Villa at home in the midweek under the lights at the Emirates Stadium, before I think we play Manchester United away from home. So it will go into Old Trafford. If we can get 15 points on the table, it will be a perfect start. And after this game, why can't we? Because we'll have the confidence, and the players will be buzzing after this. So yeah, I'm optimistic.
Optimistic indeed. And I share your thoughts, Uma. I'm completely with you. I'm really, really confident going into the season. As I've said in previous shows, I've not been this excited going into the seasons for a few years. So, and Arteta's really proven why we should be excited, because the performance today, the first half, anyway, was dominant. It was absolutely dominant, and I think that's the type of performances you need to put in if you want to become a Champions League club and a Champions League regular club. And Arsenal definitely showed that today, and hopefully they can maintain some sort of consistency going into the season. It's going to be a long and hard season. It's almost going to be 2 seasons in one. Let's not forget, because of the massive World Cup break. So maintaining that consistency will be key throughout this season, and we shall see what happens. But that is the end of the show there, guys. Umar, as always, mate, thank you for jumping on.
Thank you, Bailey, and thank you for everyone watching. We've got over just under 900 of you watching, so yeah, happy to see Arsenal start the Premier League season with the 3 points. So yeah, we're top of the league and we're loving it.
Amazing stuff, guys. If you like the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well if you're new to the channel, as we do release Arsenal content on a daily basis and we will have more post reaction shows, pre-match reaction, of course, Arsenal agendas. So make sure you subscribe up for that, and most importantly, guys, make sure you keep following us down the Arsenal way.